making it all yourself?
Well, I've been trying, Sarah, but I really suck in the kitchen. Look what happened to my hands after just cutting vegetables for 10 minutes. I need help.
Yeah, you do. I think I know this woman who could help you out. She'd be great.
I'm ready to waddle.
Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Hi there, welcome, welcome. Come on in.
Hey, Megumi, this is my friend Rick. He's got a little nutritional problem I thought maybe you could help him with.
なんかキングコングがゴジラを食べたみたい。Anyways, come on in,
Don't worry
please,
about it.
please,
Thank
please. So, what's the problem, Rick?
Well, I'd like to eat my way out of this obesity, but I don't do kitchens, and I can't find the right food anywhere.
Huh, well, what kinds of foods are you looking for?
Rocket fuel for the human body.
Give me one moment.
Megumi promised to make me food every week. Thank you, Megumi.
Bye.
Sarah sure was a great friend. She got me hiking, found me a good food source. I just needed one more thing.
So I think you really like this guy. He's nice, he's funny, he's done pretty well for himself. So what's he look like? Well, he's tall, he's graying, and he's full-bodied, but he's got a great personality.
Great personality. Sarah, how full-bodied?
Well,
Sarah introduced me to Dale. It was that one thing I needed most. Hope.
We have to be motivated not so much by pain and discomfort and failure, but more by a dream, maybe some hope of our potential.
I can do this, I can make this change in my life.
Each day we have to revisit this idea of hope, but also what are we going to bring to action.
Hope, which to me would mean that you are anticipating something good or looking forward to something that is better than your now.
Without hope, really sort of the engine that moves us towards the future is stalled.
Without hope, you know, I mean, I don't know if you've heard this before. You can live without food for 40 days, you can live without water for 4 days, but you can live without air for about 4 minutes, but you can't live without hope for more than a second.
Jake sure can play the blues.
Dancing with you really was fun.
Yeah, and pretty good exercise, too. Downshift, Rick. Way too fast.
Guru Greg, I've plateaued.
All of life is breath. Breath is life. Increase your life force. Breathe more.
Breathe more? How?
Have fun. Your trail to health has many paths. Walk the dog.
I didn't have a dog, but Jaron did.
Breathing more is alkalizing to the body, and walking more can improve your basal metabolic rate. Here, boy, Ronnie!
Hi, Ronnie. Oh, he must like alkalarians. Give me a hug. Oh, what a good doggy.
I'll see you when I get back.
Bye, Jaron. Whoa. How far are you going to pull me, huh? You're feeling pretty strong, buddy. Here, let's go. All right, Ronnie. Good boy, Ronnie. Go, Ronnie, go. Way to go, Ronnie. Pull. Oh. Very funny, Ronnie. Very funny. Well, no more zucchinis for you tomorrow. You try that on dry ground, buddy. A little on the left lens. I can't see, Ronnie. Way to go, Ronnie. Keep going, keep pulling, buddy.
Megumi, I've lost over 100 pounds eating your fantastic food. Let's tell everyone about the advantages of low glycemic meals.
Sure, Rick. Well, basically, the lower a food is on the glycemic index, the healthier and more even your insulin level is. Low glycemic foods burn slower. That's good. High glycemic foods, on the other hand, burn faster. They spike your insulin, and that's bad.
What exactly is the glycemic index?
You know, that's a very common question. The glycemic index is really a ranking system of foods called carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are things like breads or vegetables or fruits. And basically the glycemic index looks at how quickly those foods or those carbohydrates are released into the bloodstream. So it's a ranking system between 0 and 100. The foods on the lower end of the scale release glucose or blood sugar into the bloodstream very slowly. The foods on the higher end of the scale release glucose or blood sugar very quickly. So when insulin levels are high, particularly for sustained periods of time, for prolonged periods of time, it sends a signal to the body to just continually store fat and other products, but primarily fat. Primarily the foods on the lower end of the glycemic index cause the body to release blood sugar at a very slow rate, at a sustained rate. And those are the foods that are primarily healthiest for us over time.
What do you got this week?
Kong milk, of course. Then we've got some fresh vegetables and nuts to snack on. Seaweed, nori rolls. As well as your favorite, Manitou lasagna.
Any wheat or dairy in there?
No wheat, no dairy, nothing.
Wow.
Yep, and then the best, party pizza.
Ooh, how'd you do it?
What can I say? It's magic.
Delish.
If a rock climber ate a high glycemic index meal, I would be very concerned about their ability to perform at 100% after eating that meal. People after eating a high glycemic index or high glycemic load meal will have difficulty performing both mental and physical performance.
Last year, what was your meal before each practice and race day?
Oh, we'd usually eat donuts and have coffee.
I think that could dramatically affect a race car driver in his ability to both focus mentally as well as the physical reaction time.
Whoa! Let's see that again!
Hey guys, great work day on the car. The car's in great shape.
I'll give you a ride home, Rick. Rick, there's something making noise in the back. Can you check it? We're 8 miles from Manitou. I'm catching you, Faybeck. I've been worried about your weight for a long time. If we make a friendly bet, it'll keep you focused. Who does best at next year's Hash House Harriers race? The Hash House Harriers? You mean the drinking club with a running problem? But I don't drink. You don't run either, so it doesn't make any difference. If you lose, you wax my car. And if you lose, you wax the 300 and the mayor's car.
It's a bet. Focus, fat boy, focus.
If the expectation that the reward is worthwhile is greater than the pain or the suffering that you may need to endure, if the payoff is greater, then you're more likely to change.
When you kind of combine where you're at and just really being honest about where you're at with where you would like to be, you know, what is a vision for your own life? What is sort of the highest possibility for your life? Then there's this tension between the two, and you actually have a journey because you have a mountain that you've identified.
Ronnie, look, it's Rick.
Hey, Jaren, happy Saturday.
Ew, have you been drinking chlorinated tap water?
What difference does it make?
Oh, Rick, good water is just as important as good food. First, you should find out all about chlorinated water.
Where do I look?
Music camp was in Germany last week. They had great water. Start there.
Okay.
Kosinski.
Happy Tuesday, George.
Happy Tuesday, Rick. How are you?
Very good, sir. So, the beautiful plants at the Schloss Garden, the rose bow, they get watered with no chlorine?
No chlorine in there.
The orangery and the Baroque Garden in Weilberg, any chlorine used there?
No.
And if children, when they go to school in Weilberg, they don't have chlorine in the water at the schools?
No.
In the United States and also in the state of Colorado, the usage of chlorine as a disinfectant in water systems is mandated under federal regulations which have been adopted by the state of Colorado.
They put chlorine in the water to sanitize it, to kill any pathogens or bacteria that may be in the water. And it does a very good job of killing that. It's poison, and so it kills them. It's poison, and so it will also kill our cells.
There's a range of chlorine that we're allowed to put into our water distribution systems that can range from the minimum level leaving a plant of 0.2 parts per million or 0.2 milligrams per liter to the maximum contaminant level of 4 parts per million or 4 milligrams per liter.
And so, if I came to a hotel in Weilberg,
Yeah?
there's no chlorine used?
No.
The requirement by federal regulation and state regulation is that the customer farthest away from that water treatment plant, the water coming out of their tap has to have a trace of chlorine.
If I went to a big city like Munich, do they use chlorine?
They also don't use any chlorine. If you go there in a hotel in Munich, and you can drink the water coming out of the tap, and the taste is fresh, cold, clear, crisp.
And many customers notice that in the winter as well. They notice, well, this water has a bit more of a chlorine smell or taste to it. And they are correct.
The average American does not drink enough water, and when they are drinking water, it is not the right kind of water. It is water that is laced with fluoride and chlorine, and it is doing more damage than good with those kinds of chemicals in it.
Outside of the United States, in other countries around the world, they don't have the same guidelines that we do under the EPA and the Safe Drinking Water Act that mandate the use of chlorine or some form of chlorine for disinfection.
The majority of Germany does not use chlorine?
Absolutely not. If I would have the possibility to decide to drink water with or without chlorine, I would prefer to drink without.
What I do is I'll just put it in a jug, put it in the refrigerator, and keep that jug filled, and it dissipates on its own anyway, and then the water tastes the same.
The chlorinated tap water that most people are consuming is not a healthy water. It's not healthy to drink. It's not even healthy to shower with. It is a poison.
Jaron, you were right on about the chlorine. Most of Europe is chlorine-free.
Look at you. You're dehydrated.
When someone becomes dehydrated, besides just feeling that they're constantly thirsty, and some people may not realize this, but the first thing that suffers is the skin.
Obviously, you've been drinking large diameter water.
Large diameter water? How is that possible?
Different ranges of diameters of water are basically the clustering of water and how they group together.
H2O molecules are clustered together. Generally, tap water can be anywhere from 10 up to 40 molecule clusters, probably more on the high side. And the reason for that is because acid acts like a molecular glue that causes the water to stick together. So if you have acidic elements within the water itself, then you're going to get a larger diameter water. And when you drink it, it feels heavy. It goes in you, it kind of bloats you a little bit, or it's not permeable.
For optimum human health, I think you should avoid tap water in most cases.
There is a relationship between ORP, or oxidative reduction potential, and the diameter of the water. Larger water molecules are harder to enter the body's cell, specifically because the surface tension, the larger the molecule, the higher or increased surface tension. The smaller water molecules, specifically because they have a lower surface tension, would be able to enter intracellular or inside of the cell much easier than a larger cell.
So if we're talking about coffee or tea, it's going to take energy from the body, and we're going to feel that as, wow, I feel energized. But then what happens after? We feel energized. Now we feel tired. We have another cup of coffee. Oh, I feel energized. All we've done is robbing energy from our energy reserves and depleting our energy reserves, and so we have this energy that goes up and down throughout the day, which doesn't happen when we're eating or drinking electron-rich fluids or foods.
Is oxidation bad for human health? And absolutely, a number of the anti-aging studies clearly show that as we progress through life, whether environmental or dietary indiscretions, those all have an oxidizing effect upon the body, and that these accelerate the aging process.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, Megumi.
Hey, Jupiter water.
You know about that?
Sure. It makes small diameter water. That'll help you out, Clyde. Let's hook it up big, Rick.
There's a lot that has to go into creating a good, healthy water. Ionization was invented by the Russians many, many years ago, where they discovered the separation of ions, both positive and negative ions, and through magnetism, to be able to pull these elements to one side that were positive and to the other side that were negative, and actually create two streams of water. One which was acidic that could be used for disinfecting purposes, and one that was alkaline that could be used for ingestion, that was at a smaller molecular structure. Diameter was smaller, that was wetter, that carried greater electrical energy, that could actually energize and alkalize the body at the same time. Some of the ionization processes which actually break those bonds, whether they're stuck together with acids, breaks those bonds, creates a water that's anywhere from 4 or 5 to 6 molecules, and that's a more permeable water, or what we refer to as a wetter water.
We see smaller clusters of water. They're literally wet cells, if you will. In other words, the clusters of water inside of them are able to store electrons.
My tap water was extremely electron hungry. After installing the Jupiter ionizer,
alkaline water selected.
It changed the ORP from a bad 698 to a good -384.
Now I'm drinking electron-rich wetter water.
These types of machines can create a water that, taking municipal water and then taking out all the chlorine and all the pollutants out of it, and then creating a water that's consumable, that's actually going to be good for the body, that's going to be alkalizing and energizing for the body.
What are you ladies doing now?
We're praying over the water to make it happier.
I didn't know it could be sad.
You better talk to a water expert.
Who?
Dr. Masaru Emoto.
Dr. Emoto spent decades studying water and the theory of vibration.
I'm
very much interested in and believe about the theory of vibration and how vibration was the starting point for everything that exists on this planet.
Vibration, or hado in Japanese, transfers a lot of information to water. Dr. Emoto found a way to show this information by freezing samples and watching the ice crystals that grow. He froze many samples from each source. Were the ice crystals beautiful and harmonic, like these from Niagara Falls and Stonehenge? Or disfigured, like the ones found in Tokyo and London's tap water? Here's water put through a microwave, and water placed by a television. Look at the shape of this Jupiter water. Water shape changes a lot. Is the hado harmonic or disharmonic?
Harmonic chords create better or harmonious vibration or resonance when they're combined together. And when there's dissonance, meaning negative feelings or emotions, it will create that dissonance within our bodies too.
Even sound will affect the shape of water.
If some people listen to the same type of music, it will definitely change that person's water content depending on the music that they're listening to.
Emoto's team exposed distilled water to songs. Look at what was formed by the Blue Danube Waltz.
Heavy metal!
The Beatles' Yesterday. And the ever-timeless Amazing Grace. Emoto also proves that emotions can affect the shape of water. They wrote words on paper, attached them to bottles of distilled water. Look at these results.
One of the most beautiful crystals that was created is when I put together the two words love and gratitude.
Our bodies are 50 to 70% water. Just think, how are your emotions affecting the water in your body?
Water retains all the information, whether it's positive or negative, and transmits to us or in our bodies.
If you start your day in nature, listening to classical music with a happy smile, and your spouse comes in and says,
"Well done."
Or she says,
"Oh, honey, thank you."
Or whispers,
"I love you."
Then asks kindly,
"Let's do it together."
Your body's gonna have a good hado day. Beautiful crystals grew when the world's religions were placed on bottles of water. It made me wonder, what would the world be like if all of these religions worked together? Breathtaking, isn't it? For thousands of years, those religions told of the power of prayer. Emoto shows us that incredible power.
The power of prayer with just few of the people and how this can transform even the biggest body of water. I can explain that by taking up an example. I think the best one would be the Lake Biwa prayer.
Lake Biwa, the largest lake in Japan, was so polluted, people complained of the smell. Dr. Emoto organized 350 people to perform a prayer dedication over the lake. The water cleared.
odors disappeared. And look at the change with just prayer. This ceremony was repeated at the Fujiwara Dam in Japan, Lake Deininger in Germany, and from Lake Galilee in Jerusalem, prayers were sent to change a bottle of water still in Tokyo. And it worked. That's right. Prayers even worked from thousands of miles away. Wow.
One of the things that is most important is to pray over the water or any beverage or food that you're consuming to increase a person's overall health.
ありがとうというそういう意味なんです。それから手をこうやって合わせますね。あるいはこうしますね。
When the two hands come together, I believe that it creates more vibration and resonance. And in enhancing that prayer pose or mudra is the prayer, feeling, thought, or even a mantra or a verbal prayer.
ごく自然にそういう形を取るのだと思います。栄養学というものをその振動論
If we're going to study nutrition, then it really needs to be studied in conjunction with understanding what vibration is or vibrational theory.
I called frequency researcher Bruce Tynio. We talked about the vibrational frequencies of people and food.
We're living in an energy soup, and we're nothing but energy. How that energy is configured determines what we are or how we are shaped, how big we are, what our appendages look like, everything else. Every object in this universe is based around energy.
The energy of living things can be measured in megahertz.
A relatively normal, healthy human will vary from 68 megahertz all the way up to about 78 megahertz.
People with colds and flus vibrate at 55 to 60 megahertz. People with cancer, only 40 to 42 megahertz. Most cooked foods are at 0 megahertz. That's bad. Living electron enzyme-rich foods range from 15 to 140 megahertz, and that's good.
Wheat, potato, tomato, green onions, anything that you may consume all have different frequency or vibration.
This is the BT3 frequency monitor. It measures frequencies. The shortest distance from the plant to the plate is the healthiest for all of us because these plants have the highest vibrational, the highest life energy, and if you can eat foods that has a higher vibration than you, it gives you energy. If you eat foods with less a vibrational rate than your body, it takes energy away. Simple as that.
In general, one with a higher megahertz reading would be healthier.
I used to eat lots of dead pizza.